Goddamn spaghetti is what I got. Because you know how the women just put it in drive and go. They put it in D and go. What's up, guys? So I got most of the parts for the build and I'm getting started with the wiring on this thing. I'm not the best with wiring. I can do a little bit, but I'm trying to figure out what the distributor power wire is, and I figured out the temperature sender, the distributor. I think I got the distributor wire dialed in. And then I got the alternator power wires, because on this engine, all I really care about is the engine temp, the distributor getting power, and does the battery recharge itself. From there, I can put in a manual switch for the fans because they're not going to be needed that much, and go from there. But let me show you what I got. Goddamn spaghetti is what I got. See, I think right down there, that all goes to my ECM, which I'm not running fuel injection because this is a drag truck only. And I think this wire right here, that one, is going to be for my distributors. And I think I'm only going to need the red wire off of it. I think the white wire just sends a signal back to the ECM that the engine's running. And but I'm not sure, and don't quote me on that. Up here we got the purple wires for my starter. The red wires go to power, so that shit's pretty straightforward. And I think I had, or I do, or I didn't, I have a ground in there. I'm trying to figure out what this plug right here goes to because it comes straight out the dash. I think I'm going to be okay because the power comes back to here. And then from here, it branches off, and this is what controls all my heater box over here. So I'm gonna leave that up there. I also want my wipers to work, so wipers and heater and exterior lights. So we're plugging away through it one by one. Now, if you're any bit like me, the scary part of this build is not actually assembling the motor correctly. It's doing all the wiring correctly so it doesn't burn down in the process or after you get it running. So another thing that I have in here is a brake controller. If that still stays powered up and still works after everything's running, I'll leave it. I don't care about that. The best thing you can do is get yourself an older truck or an older vehicle. It takes less wiring, it's more basic, it's straightforward. The other thing is, too, I've read a couple wiring diagrams on this, and it says this wire's for this and that wire's for that, but sure. So we're just going to keep at it for now, and I'm just going to keep on giving you guys updates. An update like this one, the Melling M55H HV is installed. And with a hardened steel collar right here instead of the plastic ones they typically have. Along with that, we got a new oil pan on the way because I tried to clean up that old piece of shit, and it wasn't cleaning up very well. But yeah, we're getting there. Well, my headers came in today. I got them painted. On the Jag side, it says use lacquer thinner to scrub them down first with, so I did that, and then I painted them with the high temp paint. It says good for up to 1200 degrees, so hopefully they'll turn out good. I don't really think the lacquer thinner did the right job. I think is what I needed more was MEK, but we're going to find out, and I can't wait to hear these Bad Larrys sing. Now, I was lucky enough, I got them on sale for $179.99, and it was really funny, too, because I put them into my shopping cart on the Jegs website at $179.99. After, or I went back to shop to look at torque converters and that kind of stuff, and by the time I got done shopping and back in my cart, all of a sudden they were back to $199 or something like that. But they come with all the hardware. They come with gaskets, so I don't have to order gaskets for them. The one is funny shaped because actually the steering column shaft goes right through that area. But I can't wait to get these in the truck. I still got to get the motor in, I know, but we're working on it. We're getting there. My Aunt Peggy got me this really cool sign. It's right there. It's called Dad's Garage. We're going to modify it to say Dad's Cheapskate Garage, because if any of you ever grew up with your dad helping you work on your cars, that's what it's all about, family, right? Fathers teaching sons, sons becoming fathers, teaching their sons or daughters how to work on cars. That's what it's all about. So I went ahead and I ordered the 3200 stall converter. It's on its way here, and after that I just got to clean up some wiring. I had a little issue. I want to say thank you to everybody on the Facebook page, V8 S10 Facebook page. When I ask questions on that, everybody's quick to help, and nobody gives me a hard time or ration of shit, even though I probably deserve it, because I could probably do a little bit better job searching for this stuff. But even when I search for stuff, I get confused on, oh, one person says this and one person says that, and I just want to kind of get like 12 people that say it's like this and 4 people that say it's like that. I'm going to go with whoever, the 12 that says it's like that. So last night I did a bunch of wiring. I'm going to take out as much of it as I can. I learned that if I leave the ECM in, it's going to prime the computer, or the computer, when you turn it to on, it primes the pump, which charges the system. I don't know if I'm going to actually need that since I'm going with a carburetor, but why leave it, or why take it out if I don't have to? Weight savings, yeah, it's what, 4 pounds and some wiring, but I think is what I can do is any plug that was for the EFI system, I could just go ahead and take it back to the firewall, cut it, heat shrink it, cap it, and leave it there and get rid of all of it. Because like the only wires that I need is the pink one for my distributor, I need my purple one for my starter, and I mean it'll run off of those 2 wires, right? The other one that I need is my temperature and my alternator. If I want to keep it running, I'm going to need the alternator, right? So the alternator's the red wire, and one comes back to the firewall, the other one comes from the ignition, and that's the exciter wire for your alternator, if you guys didn't know that. There's a couple more ground wires in there. I'm going to keep those just so that way if I do leave the ACM in there, I don't know yet, I'm just kind of like, who knows what I'm going to do, because I don't. This is like my first actual hardcore engine swap into a vehicle. I've wanted one of these S10 since for like the last 10, 11 years. I went for a ride with one. Like, guy had 350 in it, and I think he had a TH350 in it, but it was a sweet little ride that he had. Looked really clean too. Forget the guy's name now. I haven't seen him in years. But no, I went for a ride in his, and I fell in love with these trucks. Not to mention, I watch SRC Street Racing Channel, and I love that S10. And I watch the Old Man's Garage, and he's kind of given, on the Old Man's Garage, he's given all the tips that you need to be able to go bracket racing. So I just got to get myself something that's competitive to bracket race with, and I think I can do it. Yeah, it's an adventure. It's an adventure. I'm like peaked out on budget right now. I think here we'll probably go through doing a budget here real quick shortly, because I think I'm a little bit over budget at the moment. I kind of said, well, I could spend this now and then not have to spend more later, or I could buy the cheap now and then spend more later to upgrade it. So there's a few parts where I kind of went all out on when I did them. The transmission was quite a bit more expensive than what I wanted it to be. You know, but I got the trans brake in there, and it's a Turbo 400, and it's rebuilt, it's refreshed. So, my shift pattern's now park, reverse, neutral, 1, 2, 3. Because I got the reverse valve body from Jegs, and that was an extra $550 that I didn't even have to spend. I could have left it bone stock, and I'd have been into a transmission for $500 or $1,000 rebuilt. The torque converter, I really wanted an anti-ballooning one from Jegs, but it's just not in the budget there. And it's going to be a while before I upgrade the rear end and get some really, really nice tires on it. So I think maybe for the rest of the season, I went low grade, 3200 stall converter for it. And we're going to see if it performs and if it can handle it. I'm not throwing 700 horsepower at it because the truck can't even take it. It'll just roast the tires right off the bat with these little POSs on it. Got to keep it clean for the YouTubes. But I think that's it. I think next we'll I'm waiting on a couple parts for the engine, and then it's going to be all assembled. The torque converter kit's here. That's getting transmission fluid in it, into the transmission, and all assembled. One day, all assembled. I'm waiting for like a 65-degree morning. Come out here, nice and cool, keep the garage closed. Just turn wrenches, jam out, enjoy life. I think the only thing else I'm waiting on is push rods. I bought a new oil pan because the one I have is just joke. It's junk. But anyway, we'll catch you guys, or we won't catch you later, but we're gonna go and see where we're at with the budget. What's up, guys? So it's about 11:30 at night, and I was having problems with my wiring, and I couldn't quite figure out what the hell was going on. But basically, I cut most of it out. I did keep a few wires. And if you're doing a S10 swap and you're putting a small block Chevy on a carburetor, or even an LS on a carburetor, here's some wires that you want to keep. So this wire right here, it's your pink wire with a black stripe. I accidentally cut it, but that is your main PCM or ECM power wire. I left all of these, so you got an orange, a yellow, a green, a white with a black stripe, a blue, a tan, a black with a white stripe, and I think that's purple or brown. You need all those to go to your PCM because that's what controls your fuel pump. And if you want your fuel pump to be able to prime the system prior to starting it, you're going to need all that. Then we come over here. I don't know what this goes to just yet, so I'm leaving it. But let's just start right here. You got your red wires right here. They got these guys on them. This is for your alternator. This right here, this plug, is your exciter wire. This is your charging wire. These charging wires, one goes back under the dash, the other comes up here to this joining pod or whatever you want to call it. Your bright pink one, that one goes to your distributor. Your purple one goes to your starter. And then I got these two that I don't know what they go to yet. Oh, one's a ground, and I don't know what the other one goes to. And then we got, well, there's my purple wire for the starter. We got another ground and the distributor. So it's really not a whole lot of wires. It's just a handful. And we got another ground that's buried in there. That one goes to the back of the block. But I'm curious to figure out what this plug right here does, or used to do. I think I'm going to go, I still got the engine, so I can go kind of look at it and see. It's probably a map sensor or some damn thing, and I probably don't need it. I can cut them off and heat shrink the wires back together. But so what I'm going to do is I'm going to take out all those wires that go in there, and I think I'm just going to, I don't think this truck's ever going back, but I'm going to spaghetti them up inside the cab and leave it alone like that. And then I could put that boot back on there and run some new conduit for it. If you want to leave all your heating controls, leave all this up here, leave all that stuff alone, it'll still work. Unless you're like me and running a ridiculous cam and won't have any vacuum to operate your vents. Might want to just ditch that too. So as you can see, I got my recorder right there. She writes down everything for me. And she's out here helping me tonight. Just a little bit. And Dad, why'd you do that? Dad, there's gas on the ground. What's that coming out of there? Well, that's gas because the fuel pump primes. And it pukes gas. So that's the basics to wiring. I'm not going to get any more deeper into it than that. I'll probably go a little more over it once I get the engine in and I'm hooking everything up. But it's actually pretty simple compared to what the 62 Thunderbird was. That was a mess because like none of the wires looked the same original color, and I had to trace them all out to what they were. But anyway, let's keep going with the project. We got some fresh paint in there. Might as well since it's out. We got all the wiring that I need right there. I deleted the AC, but we're going to put the AC box back on because I looked up lids for them and they were expensive, so hell with it. Yeah, I ordered the wrong oil pan. This is the best news I've had all day. It's one of them unisex ones. It can go this way or here. See, the oil pan's supposed to be over here, so I guess that would be the left-hand side of the motor, or the driver's side, let's just call it. No, that is still one thing to the end of this, till this day, that everybody seems to just, oh, it's on the left-hand side of the motor. Well, is it on the left-hand side of the motor if you're sitting in the driver's seat, or is it on the left-hand side of the motor if you're looking at it? I always say it's the left-hand side as if I'm sitting in the driver's seat. Left-hand side of the truck going down the road, but it is what it is. Everybody's a little different, I guess. Oh, check out these sweet-ass Mickey Thompson valve covers I scored. Hell yeah. My wife says she's got something special she's going to do for me for Father's Day with them. I don't know what yet. Kind of curious. Do you see what I see? So I got to delete on that up there, because that's just bad. I scored that today for 75 bucks, cable and all. The only thing I'm missing is the bracket that goes on the transmission, so she's coming right along. We're gonna be slamming gears. But let me go to the other side and show you something about this. So basically, when you're driving this truck, it's drive 2 and 1. It's for a 3-speed. That's why I picked it up, because the Turbo 400 is a 3-speed. But I got a reverse valve body, so any of you guys know what that means? You know what that means. That's like an anti-theft on this, or keep my wife from driving it device. Because you know how the women just put it in drive and go. They put it in D and go. I just want to take a minute to give a huge shout out to everybody on the internet and all my buddies that have helped me out on this project. Especially Josh and Steve. Josh went down and helped me get the truck to even start it. And Steve's even giving me advice and answering all my calls whenever I call you. Appreciate you guys very, very much. Almost be like a lost puppy without you. But I'm pumped to get this thing running and driving, and it's time that I stop filming and time that I start working. But just want to say thanks. And if you made it this far into the video and you haven't subscribed yet, you might as well, because this shit's gonna be gold.